Good morning. Happy Friday and welcome to Open Office Hours. I'm Crystal. I'm part of the team here at Syncro.
Hi guys, I'm Brandy. Nice to see everyone. It's Friday and I missed you guys last week, so I'm happy to be back.
I know we missed you too, Brandy. There was a lot of, I don't know if you've watched the recording of last week, but yes, you were definitely missed.
I'll have to watch that.
um, but thank you all for attending. For those of you that this is your first time in Open Office Hours, welcome. We love doing these. This is just a place where you can ask whatever questions you have. Doesn't matter where you're at in your journey. It can be how-tos. It can be more in-depth workflow style questions. It really doesn't matter because we've got people in here that are payers that have been with us for a long time that maybe just had a few questions throughout the week or they're training a new technician. So everything is helpful for most folks that are listening. And feel free to continue to return every week. It's just kind of a great resource to keep training. One thing I will mention is that we do utilize the Q&A. That's kind of the way that Brandy and I will be able to manage the questions as they're coming in today. And then let's see, what other orders of business do we, so yeah, if you see us looking over onto a different screen, it's usually just because we're going through that Q&A. And let's see here. The other thing that I'll say is that this is being recorded. We do get that asked, and that all of the recordings do go onto our YouTube channel as well. And the Q&A is oddly quiet already. I'm like, where is everybody?
Usually it's like while we're intro, all of the questions flow in. But to Crystal's point too, we might be using the chat just to send you guys links. But please put your questions in the Q&A. And then I always like to let people know in the beginning, if we do drop links into the chat for you guys, if they're knowledge-based articles or videos, grab those as we go if they interest you, just because at the end, the chat will not be available. So you won't be able to grab those links. So just go ahead and copy and paste those as we go through.
Awesome. Yes. Okay. Go ahead.
Awesome. Shane is starting us off today. So we'd like to send a broadcast message warning about an impending reboot the next day. How can we do that? Great question. And I love broadcast messages, and I don't feel like people use them as often as they should, especially now that we have chat. It's a little bit easier and the customer can chat back, of course. But what you'll do is you'll go into assets in RMM. There's a couple different ways to get here, and that's the great thing is we all do things a little bit differently. Some people go to actions and they'll do a broadcast message there. For myself, I usually like to group devices differently based on criteria. Maybe you even say, you know what, all of Larry's customers, they need to get this particular notification. I'm first going to, or excuse me, all of his endpoints. I'm going to search by customer here, and then I'm going to select all of those devices in mass. I'm going to go up to manage, and I'm going to send a broadcast message here. So then I will go ahead and do that. And I'm going to say, hi there. Happy Friday. Please note we will be rebooting your device tonight, or whatever your message is here. So I'm going to go ahead and send that. And then I'm going to pop into the remote session just to show you what that looks like across the customer screen. I think I sent it to the right device. Maybe I didn't. There it is. So this is branded. That'll have your business name. It'll take into consideration your company logo. And there is your broadcast message. They do have to select OK or exit out, which I like. And then two, just since it is a little bit quiet, I like to show in the report section, you can actually go back and see any broadcast messages that you've sent this customer. So in the asset activity audit, that is going to be one of the activities that you can select here on the right-hand side. So you can just go to broadcast message, type in the customer's name, and you can report on that. Hopefully that helps.
That's awesome. Okay. All right, so I'm going to grab one. I'm going to have to look more into the best way and quickest way to send a statement. You might know that one already, but I can grab this one from Nick. Is there something of a ticket queue or place where unassigned tickets and notifications go. So this might be a multi-part answer a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So there's a few things that you can do here. So I'm going to just go to just the main tickets page to start with. And what I like to show is while we don't have maybe the traditional ticket queues, you can create you can create saved ticket searches essentially, or saved ticket views. So if I create a new one, if you wanted to have a view where you were just looking at, all brand new tickets or something like that, you could create a view for that, and it could be your default view if you wanted to do it that way. But then when it comes to actual notifications, there's a lot of different things. So this is your main ticket screen. You can filter, you can look at your new or whatever status you want to look at. And then in addition to that, if you head to your admin section and our notification center, you can get pretty granular with the way you're notified based upon a ticket creation. So if we hop down to where tickets are, so you can see like when a ticket created for anyone, or just maybe a ticket created for you, or a ticket created from an email, you can choose I want to be notified, and then as you can see, you can choose how you want to be notified: email, text, in-app. We have webhooks, so you can use Slack and that kind of thing, and we have a direct integration with Microsoft Teams as well. So that is kind of up to you how you want to be notified on that. In addition to that, again, since I'm here, I might as well just show ticket automations is also like another way if you wanted to take it even a step further. And you could create a new ticket automation, like if you wanted it to send, a different style of email than what the notification center email is. Like if you wanted to be able to like fully customize that email, you could come in here and say like, all right, when the ticket status is new, for example, I want it to notify me this way. So there's, I think, a lot of different options there, and I hope that wasn't too long-winded and helps. I hope it helps. All right. Brandy's face just went away for me. I don't know if it did for anyone else. Where did she go? Let's see. I'm going to read these on the fly. I think she's logging back in. Must have had an internet thing. There she is. There's two Brandies.
I don't know what's going on. My Zoom said that it was not responding.
Oh, weird.
I guess I'm logged in twice. I don't know. There we go. I actually can't see any previous questions now. I did see that someone had a question about scheduling the broadcast messages, and you were not able to schedule broadcast messages at the time. I think I saw that as part of a...
Said we'd like to set those broadcast messages up as a script to run weekly before their scheduled maintenance. How can we add that to a policy? Do you want to show that, or do you?
To add a script?
Yeah. So, well, to use a script to send a broadcast message.
Gotcha. On the PowerShell module.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Let me just pull this up here. I apologize, guys. I don't know what's going on with my computer. You might have to, oh, here we go. Okay, now we've got it. Zoom is not liking me today. All right, are you guys able to see this now?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, so what you're going to do is in the script section, any of your scripts that you've either added on your own or you've imported from the community script library, which is right here under view, you're then going to have the option at the bottom to use the PowerShell module. So you'll need to import the module first, and then at the very bottom there is an option to send a broadcast message. So what you could do is whatever the script is that you would like to run, that's going to send a broadcast message. When you add these into the policies, and you will be able to schedule these. So in whatever policy it is that you would like to do this on the very bottom of the policies, there's two options. This one is going to be a one-time script when you're installing Syncro for the first time or changing a device from one policy to another. For your script schedules, this is where you would be able to select that particular script that had the the broadcast message piece from the community or from the PowerShell module. And then you'd be able to schedule that on a particular day or time. So you might want to do that before running another maintenance script if you'd like to. So hopefully that helps.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm gonna grab. So I don't know when you hopped back in there. I wanted to show you. So Nathan says, "Hi, Randy. All signed up today." So I wanted to tell you.
Oh, yay. I actually did not see that. So welcome to Syncro. We're happy to have you.
Yes, definitely welcome. So okay, I'm gonna grab a few of these. Brianna, happy Friday. Happy Friday. Is there a way to link a PO to a customer's invoice? I'm just gonna do this on the fly here because I don't believe so, but I don't want to say that without just looking, because I feel like maybe the only way to do that is to add it to the PDF or invoice template, and I don't know if that is an actual tag, so let's just look before I say no. Invoice PO number, no. So not a way to attach it to the invoice at this time. All right, when creating a discount as a product or service, is there a way to have that discount apply only to labor and not apply to hardware? So let's just go in here really quickly. So we've got products and services. So for those of you that are using discounts in any way, I didn't know if we have one created. Do you know, Brandy, do we have I thought we had a discount product created. Yeah.
We do have a product, yes.
Okay, so I don't think that there is a way to have it only apply to just labor and not hardware. I know obviously you can have it be a specific category, but I don't think there's a way to like block it from one type of product over the other. So I think that would be a feature request at this point. Carlos says, how can we force rescan of software, event logs, etc.? How often are they scanned? And so for this, so the agent, there's some things that happen in real time, and then there's some things that happen on like the agent checks in every 15 minutes. So I think this is something like a software scan, it's every 15 minutes. The event logs, I'm not positive if that's real time. Like if those alerts come in real time, I could double check for you. One way to just force a rescan is like you could literally go into like a policy that's assigned to that endpoint. You could go into whatever policy it is and essentially just scroll to the bottom and resave this policy, and it'll force a sync. It's kind of a different way to do it. We have a bunch of requests actually to just be able to like force a resync, and I know that we're looking into that, but that is one way that you can do that. And then the last one that I'll grab that I think I was gonna grab, I can't see it. Did I have another one? Oh yeah, Nick, I think that I heard this on another open office hours, but just to be sure, is there a way to change any of the widgets or the view of the main dashboard? I actually think this is something that is possibly on the roadmap. We get that often. So you can't necessarily customize this screen just yet. You can, of course, customize your tabs and that kind of thing. But yes, we hear that request, and we definitely like to do that. I think that would be pretty sweet. All right.
Yes, I actually had another question about how do you customize the dashboard to display the metrics I would like to see. So if you are talking about that main dashboard currently, you're not able to customize that. I do like to let people know that in the assets and RMM section, if you're looking for like a different view of customers, then you could use your saved asset searches and be able to view different metrics that way. But really good question. And then Jerry, so hello all, is there a way to the ticket creator from the ticket asking for more information? I think you're referring just, is there a way to communicate a little bit more with the person who did create the ticket rather than in the communications window, it sends to the admin and they have to forward to them. So let me just share my screen with you real quickly, because if you don't have a contact, if that person is not a contact under your customer, then it is going to go to the main point of contact on that particular ticket. But you can add a CC too. So let me just open up a ticket for you. And in here, you can add an additional CC, and this will actually pull other contacts from that particular account. I don't know if I'm listed here. Yeah, so like Crystal is listed as a contact for this particular customer. So now she can be a CC and would get all of the communication. So you can absolutely do it that way. Otherwise, yes, if you do send an email through here and that contact is not listed, then this would go to the main point of contact. But right here too is just another place. Again, this is pulling the main point of contact, but you can change this again to be the person that you want to receive the communications here. Another point here is that if you have your contacts assigned to assets and they are creating tickets from the system tray icon, they can click down here, they can create a ticket. This is going to auto populate the contact that is assigned. So they would also, again, be getting the communication on this ticket. Now, if you don't have a contact assigned to the asset, it is going to send to the main point of contact for this customer. So just to be clean, I always say if you can, I know certain situations aren't possible because multiple users use a device, but if it is a one-on-one type of a thing, you could assign a contact to this asset.
Sweet. Okay. Just wanted to let you know, Shane, I'm just trying to get a follow-up on that because I think that maybe someone in here knows, because I think that I've spent too much time already asking where to send a statement to a customer. Is there an easy way I'm missing? And I feel like I know the answer to this, but it's like escaping me. So I'm just asking someone on the team to
like
help.
Just to send an invoice or
Statement, which I thought it was in reports, but I didn't. Let's just do this really quick. Because again, I for some, it's not in where it wasn't where I initially thought it was. But then I was thinking maybe it is in is it in customers? Is there like a statement one? I can't. Again,
I truly have no idea. I don't think I've ever even
looked
at a statement.
I know, and I'll find out for you because I think that I've done this same thing and searched for it for a while. So I'm going to try to get you an answer on that. Rick wants to know, what is the approach for grouping single endpoints consumers so that I can apply automated patching and monitoring, but I also want to be able to send out reporting to each end user's endpoint that had an update or issue. So the way that you would group endpoints is by applying a specific policy. So the policies here, you could have multiple. I have companies that have 2,700 endpoints and they have two policies, meaning they offer like two options. And so all of their endpoints can get grouped under, like if you go to this base package on this policy, you can see all the endpoints that are applied to this. So that's one way to just make sure if you have a group of assets that you all want to have functioning the same way, patching, third party, Windows, scripts, all monitoring, that kind of thing, you would just apply the same policy to multiple endpoints. And then as far as the reporting goes, I might have to dig in a little bit deeper on that because we have reports based on customers. But usually, like, let's see, if we just do like an asset audit report, it's, as you can see, it's by actual customer. You can go through like an asset type, for example, but if you run the report, you'll get all of Larry's endpoints. So I'm not sure exactly if this would be helpful or not if you're like looking for individual assets, but of course we do have multiple reports that, might give you the information that you want to see too. Like if you wanted to see like an activity report or an aging report, that kind of thing, it will break it down from different endpoints. As far as patching goes too, like if you just go to, we have a patching report, but if you just go to like an actual individual endpoint, you can see everything that's happened. So like, for example, on this machine, if I hop over, there's a few things on this specific machine. I can do like an export of all activity. So full activity, you can export that on this individual endpoint. You can also just head over and you can see for this specific machine all the recently installed patches and that kind of thing. You can even see all installed applications. And so you have a lot of visibility on a per endpoint basis. So hopefully that will help. I was just going to hop back into this discount question because, yeah, you're right. For the discount question, the discount applies to all items above the discounted line item on an invoice. So if you add that like a 15% discount or something like that, it would, you're very right. Thanks for bringing that up. The other thing that I was just going to look, if you go into any product, so you could put a discount on the actual product and you could have regular labor and then you could have labor and like call it something else that is the discounted rate of the labor. You could do that so that the discount only applies to that specific line item. Okay, cool. Go for it, Brandy.
Okay, I found the statements. So
awesome. Let me stop sharing. Let me find my Zoom controls keep going away from me. Go for it.
You were definitely in the right place. So this is going to be found in the reports. It's actually under customers. It's an open balance report. And then you can select them in mass or just one at a time, and you can send the statements here. So hopefully that helps. I actually learned something new today because I have never even sent a statement through here. So Nick has a great question. Is there anything along the lines of different groups or tiers of text, like level 1, level 2 design team? They would all have access to all clients. So a couple different things with this. You can absolutely have different groups. So what you can do is you can go into the admin section and you can have security groups. You can assign multiple text to each different security group. So you can see there's over 200 different options you can give them access to. So maybe the design team can only see certain things, and maybe accounting can see certain things. Everyone will have access to all of the customers, but just different sections. So you can absolutely do that. I think unless there's anything more to your question here, I do get the question a lot about, can you have like certain tech run certain scripts? Not yet, but you can definitely group them differently here. So really, really good question. We definitely get that one a lot. And then scripts. Can we auto remediate based on event logs? So great question. Love automated remediations, you guys. So if you go into assets in RMM, I do think a lot of people miss this, especially if you're in your trial. If you go to actions and automated remediations, you can really auto remediate based on a ton of different things inside of here. So you can be really broad or granular, and you can come in and set up your different conditions. If you use the trigger category, then you can alert based on different event logs. So you can do that, come in here, choose whatever you would like to, and then again, I can come in and convert it into a ticket, run a script, email the customer, clear the alert, send an SMS message, whatever you'd like to do. So you can remediate based on event logs, scripting, different RMM alerts. You can do a ton in here. I think.
Right. Is it my turn? I think so. Okay. I'm going to read this one out loud. I was testing apply patches to an asset from the console. In script section, it indicated it was installing patches. That was the only message indicating anything was happening. Nothing on laptop indicated patches were being applied. I sent a reboot script for after the patches were applied. It took about 2.5 hours before PC rebooted. How do I know progress of any of the things happening? So really great question. I know that, so if you're doing the patches from with like, that's not in an actual policy, because in a policy, when you're applying patches, you can say if it requires a reboot, you can just have it be a part of that. But if you want a little bit more visibility as to kind of after you run a script where it's at, like where it's at in that status, like on the actual endpoint, you would be able to see like if something was pending, meaning like maybe there was a bunch of other scripts running at the same time. I don't know in your instance if that would have been the case, but like if you go to an asset here, you would be able to see, like if you go to the scripts, for example, you'd be able to see if there was like anything pending, and they would read here if it was pending, or it would show you there. The other way to kind of get some sort of insight too, I believe if you go into the actual scripts screen, like you can see which scripts are scheduled to run. And then I want to say you also, if you go into an actual script that you have ran, yeah, you'd be able to see like the latest scripts that have run, and it would tell you there if it had errored or anything like that. So that's kind of like the best, I think that's the best that I know, to get some visibility there. One thing that I mentioned too, is that if you were doing your Windows application or your Windows patch management here from the policy, I just wanted to show this too, just in case if you haven't seen Windows patch management, when you're selecting when you want those categories, of patches to patch, this is where you can decide if you want it to reboot, if it requires a reboot, what you want Syncro to do. So you can define that, and hopefully then it's not a manual effort anyways. So just thought it would be worth showing that. Carlos wants to know about reports. Is there a way to get a report based on the custom fields across all clients? For example, I would like to be able to get a report against all customers for a specific field. So one thing that I will show, because there's not going to be a custom fields report at this time. Not to say that that's not something that we would do, but one way that I found maybe this would be able to help is that if you create a saved customer search based upon the field that you're looking at. So if it was like an asset or like a customer drop down field, and maybe it was like customer type, and you wanted to look at all of your customer types that were residential, like you could run a saved customer search that way, and you can see like these are all exportable to a CSV. So I don't know if this will help your use case, but just wanted to show you that is a way to filter and look at specific custom fields. You can do that same search from assets as well. Okay, there's a few other here that I grabbed. Contracts and agreements. Is there a way where we can do a bulk price and then charge once a quantity is exceeded? For example, when we onboard a client, we will say it's for 30 PCs. If they go to 31, we need to charge them for that extra one. So our reoccurring invoices, we definitely have dynamic counters, but we don't currently have like a minimum, and if it exceeds a certain amount of endpoints. And so you would essentially, on your reoccurring invoice, you would probably have to, it would take a little, you'd have to keep track of the endpoints. It wouldn't happen automatically, but your reoccurring line item type, you'd probably have like a, you'd have like one type that was just like a flat rate for your 30 endpoints. You could put your description there, and then you would probably have to manually add the additional ones on that reoccurring invoice. It wouldn't do it automatically. The only thing that we handle really well when it comes to like minimums, or like that's what they're charging, and if they go over, is block hours. So you can do that with hours. Like if you sell them 10 hours and they actually end up using 12, it would automatically do that, but not with endpoint counts. Let's see. Last one I was grabbing. Nathan says, hey, in the missing patch by KB, should the KB numbers be hyperlinked as in the vulnerable systems report? Would be good if it was. Agreed. We added the hyperlinks on the other report a few months ago. So yeah, I'll definitely bring that up. Thanks, Nathan. All right.
Awesome. Thanks, Crystal. We've got quite a few in here. So Jerry is just asking a follow-up to the ticket question earlier. Why would it not pull the info from the ticket? It asks their email upon creation. They did do it from the ticket. I don't know if you're referring to they did do it from the system tray icon, and if that's what you're referring to. If they're not a contact for that customer, it's just not because it doesn't recognize that that particular person is part of that business. But I will show you, let me just share my screen real quickly and show you one thing that I really like to do for customers is if you pull up an individual customer, and I know I show this all the time, but I think it's important and it saves you guys a lot of time in the long run from coming up with email rules. If you go to a customer and you edit them and you toggle over to custom fields, add their domain. And then if you do receive an email from this particular domain, but maybe maybe Brandy hasn't sent you an email before, or Brandy at Syncro MSP is not a current contact under this customer, it will auto create a contact for you. So that will save you some time and also will probably help you with that. So I would recommend doing that, of course. Bob, excellent question. Can we save broadcast messages like canned broadcast messages? There isn't canned messages currently for broadcast messages, but I think that's a really excellent feature request. So I'm no developer. I don't know how much time that takes, but we do the community-driven track in our Facebook group every couple weeks. I would highly suggest putting that there. It looks like Zindi, and I apologize if I'm pronouncing that wrong, is asking, is there some kind of an in-office task field for internal tasks between techs? There isn't like an internal ticket right now, but it is heavily requested. And I do think that's something that we will be adding. I just don't have an ETA on that. I think that's a really, really good feature request, and absolutely would make a lot of sense. You could set up your business as an intern, like as a customer, and you all could do it that way. But we hope to have something a little bit more useful for you soon. And while I'm unmuted, Rick, yes, you can rewatch this Zoom session. We post them to our YouTube channel. Sometimes it's on Friday afternoons and sometimes it's on Monday, but it will absolutely be recorded. And if you need it, you can email your account rep and we'll send it over to you right when we're done.
My turn. Keep asking that. Okay, I'm going to grab another from Zindi. Any way to create a report for all assets with no AV? So I'm going to share my screen again, and I'm going to show you the way that I know how to do it. So if you go to assets in RMM, I believe that it's here, and you can just have a saved asset search for missing antivirus. So so the agent will actually pick up if it's missing it. If you're, and obviously you can get a little bit more granular too. Like if you're using our Bitdefender integration, for example, and you want to run a report to make sure that, you've got everyone on Bitdefender specifically, you can use this one. And so it'll just create a saved asset search, and you'll have a list of all of your assets that don't have AV. Not necessarily a report unless Brandy has a report.
I don't have a report, but just I wanted to mention it's an excellent upselling opportunity for you guys too, because in our mass mailer, you can send out an email campaign to people who are missing antivirus. And Crystal, it looks like she's going to pop into that. So you could do that. And it's a great opportunity for upselling. It'll track click and open rates for you. You can create that custom campaign based on a saved customer search or a saved asset search. So I really like that. Just more ways to make money, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great ad, because you could just pick whatever it was. So say this doesn't have AV, and you can literally just send in a mass email like Brandy mentioned, and it's getting, it's towards the end of the year. You can do this for a lot of different things too. Like maybe you're somewhat of a hybrid business and you have some break fix customers and some managed service. Maybe you want to create a saved customer search and send out a mass email to all of your break fix customers and see if you can get them on a managed plan or something like that. There's a lot of really cool things you can do here. So yes, thank you for bringing that up. All right. So what was I going to grab here? It was Corey. Offline asset emails are a constant inbox filler that we don't care to see outside of servers. We changed this setting in all of our RMM policies. However, the notifications continue to drop in my inbox. How do we stop this? So I'm assuming, this might be something we'd have to bring technical support into if you haven't already created a ticket, because if you've removed this or like put all of your workstations on a policy that does not have this alert, you should not be continuing to receive notifications here. So if you actually have created a policy and moved all your workstations or moved all your servers to a different policy that has this enabled, you really should not be getting those notifications anymore. So if you are, I would definitely recommend reaching out to create a ticket, because yeah, that would be probably very busy inbox. I think that was all I've grabbed so far. Stop sharing.
Okay, perfect. A couple things here. So Zindy's asking about where do I change the display name for chat? Right now it's named with your company name instead of the tech name. Currently, that's how it is. You can't change. It's going to show your business name to that particular customer. So you can't change that part. Jerry, good question about, I went into customer custom fields and they don't look quite like yours. They're not going to. You're not going to have any customer custom fields to get started. So you can set those up if you go into the admin section. You can have custom fields for customers, contacts, tickets, and assets. So under customers, you're going to notice the customer, contact, and asset custom fields. And then under tickets, you're going to notice ticket custom fields. And you can come in here and you can create whatever custom fields you want to. So ours has a ton of different options in there. I do like to point out that by default, you're not able to set up encrypted custom fields. You will have to go into the App Center, and towards the bottom, there's going to be Password Vault. It's 100% included in your subscription or if you're on a trial of Syncro. But before you can actually create a new field that is encrypted, it won't give you that option unless you have that. So good question. I just like to make sure people know that. And then we've got one about the support portal. So can you provide other functionality besides just creating a ticket? And if so, where would you go to customize? Yes. So we've recently made some changes to it, the customer portal. I'm going to go ahead and drop the KB here in a second in there for you. But if you go into more and you go into the admin section again, and you guys will notice this is where you're going to customize most things. If you can't find it, it's probably going to be in the admin section. So under customers, you're going to notice portal user permission groups. You can have everyone in a default group. You can have, maybe one person can come here and see everything for the company, and maybe another person can just create a ticket. So you can come into these different groups. There's 26 different permissions that you can give them access to. I'm going to show you what it looks like on my screen for someone who has access to everything. So I'm going to pull up a customer, and there's multiple steps to this, which is why I'm going to drop the KB, because even under the customer page, under portal users, you'll assign which group each contact has access to. But my example of the portal is just going to show everything. So they can see their account overview and how many prepaid hours they have. They can create a ticket and see the whole company's tickets. They can see invoices. If you guys are using an integrated payment processor, which makes your life so much easier, your customers can make payments from their portal and set up stored cards. They can also approve and decline estimates from here, see monthly reports, documentation, their assets, credentials, and their subscriptions. So you can give them access to as much information as you would like to from here, and I will drop that KB here in a second.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. Eric wants to know, can you run a report that shows all endpoints across all clients that have a specific piece of software installed, regardless of the version, as well as another that has two pieces of software installed across all clients and endpoints? So this is being heavily leveraged today, because the best way that I know how to do this is using the saved asset search. And what I don't know, and maybe Brandy knows, because any installed application you can put it there. And I think if you don't put the version in there, it's just going to scan for everything. Like it would, if you just put Malwarebytes, for example, it's going to scan for everything, regardless of the version. What I don't know is if you can comma separate and search for two at the same time. That I don't know. Do you know, Brandy, by chance? Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know if you can separate by a comma.
No, I think it's going to be like you would have to have separate like one saved asset search for one thing and one for another, or the conditions would be both.
Yes, I think so as well. All right, let's see. Oh yeah, that's funny because it also goes with Carlos's question from the saved asset search. Any way to get two software matches? So yeah, I don't think so. So yeah, you'd have to probably create two searches and then cross-reference. Rick wants to know, does Syncro integrate with Sentinel-1? If not, will it connect through Pax8 since you have a Pax8 integration and Sentinel-1 is sold through Pax8? So it's going to connect in a way that if you're using Pax8, you can have like automatic billing through the integration with Pax8, but there's not going to be an integration on a level where you can do automatic deployment and that kind of thing. You, of course, can use scripting and you could put a deployment script in your policy. So you have a few options there. Let's see. And then is there any way to run a report on an endpoint with all the installed software? I know I can do it by client, but have not been able to find it by endpoint. So you're right. I think that installed applications report has some updating to do in the admin section. We get asked that a lot. On an individual asset level, you do have this just in the actual asset screen. I think as far as per endpoint, I think that's the best way to have visibility there. I think, was that all of the ones I grabbed? Oh, Russ wants to know, is there a way to add products in a ticket? Example, a ticket solution used a part. So let me just go to a ticket here really quick, because hopefully I'm answering your question. So because again, verbiage is interesting. So the way that Syncro uses products, it's called products and services, which is the way that we have our inventory control here. And so when I looked at that question, my first thought was like, how do you add a product to a ticket that you're selling your customer? So if that's the case, if I'm on the right track, if you're in a ticket, this adder view charges here, all you have to do is head over here and start typing, and it'll start pulling from your products and services, and you can add whatever that is to the ticket. So all I did to get to this ticket line items is hop this adder view charges here. You can even create a part order. So again, not exactly sure the workflow. You could create a part order from here as well. If you had to order something one-off or something like that, but if it's from your inventory, you can just pop it right in here. All right, done.
Awesome. Couple questions. Matthew, 99.9% of the time I want to go to remote desktop when I enter Syncro Live. Can I change it so that's the default choice? By default, it will take you to the task manager always. So we do get that question pretty often, but it will take you to the task manager. So one extra click. Sorry about that. Manuel's got an awesome question about any way to do a saved asset search by client to list all endpoints. That way we don't have to continuously search for client computers. So a couple things. There isn't, when you're creating a saved asset search, the customer is not one of the conditions in here. But what you could do, for example, I could say, okay, I want to find all devices that have the base package. And then, so you can see it's searching 13 assets. Then from here, you can also sort by customer. So you would be able to do that. And now I have 5 of Larry's devices that have the base package. So you can do it that way. I know it's, one extra step there, but you can absolutely do it. Um, and then we have a question about, I think from Adam, setting up the system tray icon. So what he's referring to is the different options that you can give your customer here or your end user from the system tray icon. You can build this out to be whatever you would like. And we get this question pretty often too. So I'm going to show you a little bit more in depth. If you want to give them access to creating a ticket, this will auto-populate the contact assigned. This will take a screen capture of everything behind this ticket request form and add as an attachment in the ticket. And yes, of course, those are brandable. Those are called an agent contact form. You can also give someone access to initiating a chat with you or someone to go to your website, whatever you would like. And where that's going to be built out is if you head into your policies. So just open up any policy here. You're going to scroll all the way down until we get to the task manager, or excuse me, the system tray menu, and you can choose those options. So again, I was talking about creating a ticket that is called an agent contact form. So you'll need to make sure that you create those first, which can be done in the contact form policies, but give them any options from here too. And you'll notice with the live chat, it does give you the option to assign a technician. So for example, if for this customer, I automatically want to assign all chats to a particular tech, you can do that. You can also have the away message that pops up. I believe it's 3 minutes, don't quote me on that, after a technician does not respond to the chat. So hopefully that helps.
Awesome. I just was gonna grab this one from Matthew. This is a great quality of life request, and if you haven't seen on the Facebook group, we do basically they're community driven track where it's more like this quality of life. What would make your day easier? And so Matthew's saying, is there a way to limit the amount of assets that load on that initial assets and RMM screen? Because if you have a lot of assets, it takes maybe a little bit longer to load. So currently there's not a way to do that. But I think you should find that Facebook post or wait for the next one to come through and add that, because I think that would make a lot of sense.
Yep, I bet you get a lot of votes to that. Let's see here. Rick, wow, Syncro is much more in depth than another competitor. A little overwhelming. Wish I could download what you two know. It takes time, Rick. But we're here. Like, that's what we do these for every single Friday. We also do them on Tuesdays for trial users. It took us time to learn the product too, but the great thing is we want to save you time. We don't want you to have to go through videos and videos and videos. You can pop in every Friday. Sometimes people even just play it in the back end while they're working in case something does catch your attention, a question that's asked, which is why we read them also to you guys, just so that, you know, if you are multitasking, it's Fridays, right? Maybe you're eating lunch, you're having your coffee and you hear something, you're like, oh, I actually don't know how to do that. Let me pay attention real quick. Or you can watch the recordings of it as well. But that's what we're here for. We want it to be an intuitive platform. We want it to be easy to use. Every single week is different, which is what is so awesome. We're learning new things, right? We all learned new things today. Crystal and myself too.
Yes, that's very true. And thanks for Rick. I think we talked yesterday on the phone, I'm fairly certain. So yeah, thanks for hanging out. There's a couple in here that I can just grab really quick. Scott wants to know, is there a way to edit or make corrections to the notes in a ticket? There's not a way, is there?
No, they're meant to be historical, so you would have to delete them. Well, it depends on where the notes are.
Yes, because
I can share my screen. Yeah. So because I think we were playing with this the other day too. If it is in the communication section, those are not meant to be edited because that is meant to, you know, if you send an email, obviously you can't go edit the email, unfortunately, right? We've all sent an email that we wish we would have edited first. So you can't do that. But if you do have notes in here, so testing, let me just make a note and let's just see if I can add this. I can't spell, but that's okay. We're going to put it in here anyways. So you can clear the charge and then you can edit the notes. So this would be a way that you can do that. Just not in the communication section, but hopefully that helps. And Corey, Yes. Can you initiate a chat from the ticket? You sure can. So let me just pop this open. An asset would need to be on the ticket. You can add an asset here. Of course, you can add an existing asset, a manual asset. If the customer created it from their system tray icon, it's going to auto populate in here for you. Or if you create it manually from the customer page under the asset. But if you click on this quick view button, a whole new world's going to open up to you. So you can pop into a remote session, run a script, run any of the scripts you have stored as a favorite here. You can chat. You can even create another new ticket. So you would just come here and initiate it there. And it goes both ways because you can create a ticket from a chat too.
That's awesome. And if you've ever been on a demo with me, I show that quick view modal like every screen that I'm on because it's like my favorite thing.
It's also amazing how many people don't realize it's there and are like, whoa, you can do so many things with it. So,
yep.
I love it.
I'm going to grab a couple here. Any info on network discovery tool? So as you all probably know, we've recently released SNMP. I know we're looking at additions to that module. I don't have a time frame for a discovery tool just yet, but I'd keep your eyes out. And then, Fauzi says, welcome, Randy. And then also he's saying, we set up Microsoft updates to go on the weekend, but our clients are complaining the updates are going during production hours. Okay, so what I'm thinking here, if they shut their computers down on the weekends, and you have them set to run on like Saturday at 3 or something like that, if they don't keep their machines on and then they come back on Monday and turn their machines on, those updates are going to run. So my thoughts are either maybe do it after hours, but send a broadcast message before and say, please leave your computer on tonight or something like that. Because I'm assuming that's what's happening. Just my first thought there. What do we got here, Brandy? Let's see.
I was just clicking into Matthew's comment about the icon. We need to reboot the computer for updates to take effect notification as a general visual studio icon. And I was just clicking into Dropbox to see. I truly don't know. Because the only one that I know we can change on our side is like if you're changing the system tray icon, that can be your logo. But I'm truly not sure what the update logos are that show up. I think it was just like the Windows Update logo. I really don't know the answer to that one. I clicked in and it didn't seem like something I'm familiar with being able to change.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I was going to grab this one. If I want to send an invoice to multiple people, but it is one off, can I just add an email address? Do I use a comma or semicolon? Let me share my screen here. Because it's worth showing because there's definitely a major difference between it being a one-off and all the time. Because if we let me just go to this invoice really quickly here because I just invoice. Okay. So this is the way that like it's gonna go to the main person's email, but you can also add another email here. So I think you could just add it here. And I do believe that if you had more than one, it's separated by comma. One thing I will show just because it's worth just showing this because we've Larry with 3 R's. Oops. I'll just show you Larry really quickly because I wanted to show you some advanced settings that we have added. That if you go in here and edit Larry, you can add additional invoice CCs here. And I do believe, again, yeah, comma separated. If you wanted to always send it to an additional, this would be the way to do that on a customer's account too. Cool.
Perfect. Creighton's asking, can you schedule a wake on land command via a policy to run before scheduled updates to ensure the computers get their updates as scheduled? So let me just show you a couple of things, because in a policy, the only way to natively do that is if you're running a script. So we have a wake on land feature, but it's not in the form of a script. So in order to add that in a policy in our community script library, there's a few wake on land scripts. You can import those, and then on the policy level, you would be able to come in and add those. But it's not going to be under like your Windows updates. There's not going to be an option to wake on land prior to running these, if that's what you're referring to, which I think it might be. A couple things inside of here, because I think we've gotten a few questions about this too, is you also have the option to prompt your users with messages before a reboot is attempted. So you can absolutely do that too. But yeah, I think you're wanting it to run before the Windows updates, which I'm not a developer, nor am I a proficient scripter. So I don't know if it's possible, but not to my knowledge.
Okay, there's a few flying in here. Is there a way to have Syncro warn the user not to shut down when they actually go to try? I don't believe there's a way to do that. You can, like I said, you could use broadcast messages, but not like, I don't think there's a way to do it once they've actually like started the process. Adam has an alert that disk space is low. How can I check current status of disk space from agent view instead of connecting to the computer? I think you have to connect to the computer. I don't know if there's a way to do it without connecting. Let's see. I'm just going to read this one out loud. I haven't read it yet. Is SNMP functionality used to just document information on devices in the network that are not manageable through Syncro platform, but are vital part of the network? Or is there more functionality we could use that section for? Oh, yeah, there's a lot of functionality. Let me share my screen really quickly. And I'm just going to go into one of our SNMP devices that we have here. You actually can be monitoring the device. I don't know what other printer. I'm going to go to this one just because this one, I can wrap my head around this one much easier than like the NAS device. But so once you've set this up, let me just go into an edit here on this printer. And SNMP details. So you're using, this is my monitoring agent. I'm using it to monitor this printer. But for this specific example, I'm monitoring ink thresholds. So I can get alerts on this. If the toner goes below a certain threshold for a certain amount of time, I can get an alert. And what's nice about this is that it works just the same as any other RMM alert. So you can even set up automations based upon these alerts. So yes, to answer your question, it's far more than just like documenting what's on the network. You can actually be monitoring these devices. The question before was the discovery tool. So right now we are not actually scanning the network and bringing in those devices, but you can, if you have like the host name and the port, enter those in with a monitoring device and you're good to go. And you can monitor certain things and add your OIDs and even your OID recipes as well. So hopefully that answers that. Phew, we had like a flood of questions and we did it. Well, awesome. I guess it's 2 minutes to the end. So if there is any last questions, you just let us know. And yes, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you all.
We love these.
We do. Great questions today. They're always different. So there's, like I said, please, hang out with us every Friday and, hopefully you'll find some value. And this is recorded, and hop over to our YouTube channel and check it out.
Oh, Creighton just says if you go to an asset and click on the system specs button, you can see the drive space usage for each disk.
Oh.
You can also view, like in an asset audit report, you can make those conditions as well. So you can view those.
Cool. Awesome. All right. Well, everyone, happy Friday. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.